everything CSEC. Today we'll be doing the CSEC Principles of Business, May-June 2020, past paper 1. But if you're visiting the channel for the first time, go right ahead and subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you are alerted when new videos are posted. And the only way that you can express your appreciation for the hard work that goes into preparing this video is by subscribing to the channel to say thank you. So let us get right into it. The first question says, one feature of a free market system is that A. Competition is decreased among producers. B. The government is the major controller in decision making. C. Producers are allowed to supply what the consumer wants. Or D. Both the government and producers are involved in decision making. So we know it's free market, so our answer would be C. Producers are allowed to supply what the consumer wants. Let's go on to number 2 question. So number 2 question says, which of the following are not trading instruments? A. Checks. B. Credit cards. C. Bills of exchange. Or D. Money remittances. So it says not. A, B, and C are trading instruments. So our answer would be D. Money remittances. That is not a trading instrument. Number 3 says, the policy of a company are usually formulated by the A. Auditors. B. Directors. C. Managers. D. Shareholders. So we know that it is formulated by the directors. So our answer would be B. Let's go on to number 4. Which of the following is not a function of money? A. Indivisibility. B. Store of value. C. Measure of value. Or D. Medium of exchange. So we know that B, C, and D are functions of money. So the one that is not is A. So our answer is A, indivisibility. Number 5. Which of the following are advantages of a sole trader? 1. Ease of setting up. 2. Profits are not shared. 3. Flexible working hours. Is it A, 1 and 2 only? B, 1 and 3 only? C, 2 and 3 eyes only? Or D, I, and 3 eyes? Whichever way you want to put it. So we know that the advantages of a sole trader, 1 is ease. It's very easy in setting up. 2, profits are not shared. So the one that is not an advantage of a sole trader is 3, flexible working hours. So therefore, our answer would be A, 1 and 2 only. Number 6. The management team of school motor has developed that their productivity levels of workers have fallen. The team met and without consulting their workers took a decision to shorten the coffee break and lunch period. What leadership style has the management utilized in making the decision? A. Autocratic. B. Democratic. C. Charismatic. Or D. Laissez-faire. Well, we notice it says the team met without consulting. So, and it's the management team's school motor. They are the ones that have developed this productivity level. So, we know that an autocratic. An autocratic leader does not consult others or involve them in the decision making. They just go ahead, make the decision, and hand it down. So our answer would be A. Let's move on to 7. Which of the following are benefits of written communication? 1. Provides evidence. 2. Provides instant feedback. 3. Useful for detailed messages. A. 1 and 2 only. B. 1 and 3 only. C. 2 and 3 only. Or D. 1, 2, and 3. So we know that our answer would be B. Provides evidence and useful for detailed messages. So our answer would be B. 1 and 3 only. Let's move on to number 8. Under which of the following categories would subsidize meals for employees fall? A. Fringe benefits. B. Duty allowance. C. Wages and salaries. D. Workers' compensation. So we know that would be subsidized meals. Meals would be a fringe benefit. A. Right. Let's move on to 9. Which of the following is a form of industrial action in which trade union are most likely to ask workers to participate? A. Mediation. B. Bargaining. C. Arbitration. D. Work through. Well, we know A, B, and C are all forms of industrial action. So, they are all forms of industrial action. So, the one that is most likely the workers will participate is in D, work to. Work to. Let's move on to 10. So here we have a structure of the organization. We have X at the top, then we have our CEO, 2 blank spaces, and then our sales manager, another blank space, production manager, then we have our finance manager, then we have our HR supervisor, and our purchasing supervisor. So here the question says, which of the following positions would be best suited at X? Is it A, Chief Advisors, B, Board of Directors, C, Managing Directors, D, Human Resource Manager? So let's look at X. So X is at the top of CEO. So who would be ahead of the CEO? So that would obviously be our board of directors. So our answer would be B. On to 11. Which of the following is not a function of management? A. Controlling the use of funds. B. Delegating work to subordinates. C. Coordinating the work of employees. D. Determining investment options for employees. But we know controlling, delegating, and coordinating. So the one that is not a function would be D. Determining investment options for employees. Move on to number 12. It says, the condensed version of the business plan is contained in the A. Executive summary, B. Financial summary, C. Marketing plan, D. Feasibility plan. So the condensed version of the business plan would be in the executive summary. So our answer would be A. 30. Which of the following is a regulatory requirement for an entrepreneur? A. Using a credit card to transact business. B. Offering hire purchase options to customers. C. Paying national insurance to the government. Or D. Advertising the business locally and internationally. So we know that it would be a regulatory by government. So this would be C. Paying national insurance to the government. C would be our answer. 14. An analysis of the viability of a business idea and an examination of the different aspects of operating a business is known as A. Business plan, B. Market summary, C. Feasibility study, D. Research proposal. So we know a business idea would be done, it's called a feasibility study to see if the business is viable. So C would be our answer. 15. Cash used to secure a loan at the bank is referred to as A. Collateral, B. Fixed asset, C. Current asset, or D. Fixed deposit. We know it is called a collateral. A would be your answer. 16. An entrepreneur may reduce the risk of loss by A. Planning ahead, B. Securing bank loans, C. Sponsoring community projects, D. Purchasing additional fixed assets. Our answer would be A. Planning ahead. That's what an entrepreneur would do to reduce risk. A. 17. Which of the following factors prevents an agreement from being considered a valid contract? A. Consideration, B. Legal purpose, C. Misrepresentation, D. compensated for damage or losses incurred is referred to as A. Indemnity, B. Proximity clause, C. Insurable interest, D. The pooling of risk. No, that is called indemnity. A would be your answer. 19. A purchase order is A. Request for additional goods, B. Notification of goods received, C. Statement of outstanding debts, D. Document offered to buy goods. No, it is a purchase order is a document offered to buy goods. D would be your answer. So 1 to 20. A contract may be discharged by A. Breach, B. Change of mind, C. Inconsideration, D. Misappropriation. So we know that a contract may be discharged by A. Breach. 21. The term human resources refer to A. Materials and goods made by human beings, B. Capital invested by shareholders in a company, C. Raw materials used in the manufacturing of goods, D. Persons available for productive and professional services. We know it is D. Human resources refer to persons available for productive and professional services. 22. Which of the following are not linkage industries? A. Fishing and farming, B. Agriculture and tourism, C. Sugar and confectionery, D. Lumber and boat building. So we know that would be A. Fishing and farming. 23. Productivity can be measured by A. Input over divided into output, B. Input into revenue, C. Output divided by input, or D. Revenue divided by output. So we know it would be output divided by input to determine the productivity. 24. Which of the following are examples of fixed capital? A. Cash balances, B. Bank balances, C. Plant and machinery, or D. Stocks of raw materials. We know it would be C. Plant and machine. 24 would be C. Let's move on to 25. Which of the following industries could be classified as extractive? 1. Fishing, 2. Mining, 3. Forestry. So is it A. 1 and 2 only, B. 1 and 3 only, C. 2 and 3 only, D. 1, 2 and 3. We know it would be all of the above. Fishing, mining, and forestry. So our answer would be D. 26. Which of the following activity is most likely undertaken in a cottage industry? A. Building of boats, B. Bottling of soft drinks, C. Making of sugar cane, D. Repairing of computers. So we know that would be C. Making of sugar cane. That would more be done in a home setting. 27. Which of the following outcomes is least likely to occur from the growth in an organization? A. Greater productivity, B. More division of labor, C. Increased communication, D. Increased capital investment. Our answer would be C. Increased communication. Let's move on to 28. In marketing, a market is best described as A. The reason for the elimination of barter, B. A situation in which buyers and sellers interact, C. A place where various types of fruits and vegetables are sold, D. The management process responsible for satisfying consumers' demand. So we know that it would be a situation in which buyers and sellers interact. So our answer would be 29. Which of the following pricing strategies is used by a firm to introduce a new product to the market at a low introductory price? A. Market skimming, B. Penetrative pricing, C. Competitive pricing, or D. Discrimination pricing. So it would be penetrative pricing. B would energy industry in their advertisements. This type of advertisement is referred to as A. Collective, B. Persuasive, C. Informative, or D. Competitive. No, it would be B. Persuasive. 31 says, the term loss leader is best described as a product which A. has no real market value, B. the retailer is unable to locate, C. is sold cheaply to attract customers, D. the retailer gives away to customers. So we know that would be C. The term loss leader is sold cheaply to attract customers. Move on to 32. Under which of the following conditions is trade discontinuous? A. Bulk purchases, B. Prompt payment, C. Payment by cash, or D. First time buyers. It would be bulk purchases. A. 33 now says, Joanna sought permission to prevent the local art gallery from reproducing and selling his painting. This legal means of protecting his work is referred to as A. Patent, B. Brand, C. Copyright, D. Franchise. Our answer would be C. Copyright. 34. Which of the following factor is least likely to influence consumer behavior? A. Product price, B. Brand loyalty, C. Quality of goods, D. Place of residence. Would be least likely, so that would be D. Place of residence. That would be least likely to influence consumer behavior. 35 says, which of the following is not a function of the retailer? A. Preparing goods for resale, B. Selling goods in small quantities, C. Providing a local supply of goods, D. Transporting goods to suitable storage facilities. Our answer would be D. Transporting goods to suitable storage facilities. That is not a function of the retailer. The others are. 36 says, Tom invests his savings by buying shares in a company. From this investment, Tom expects to receive A. Dividends, B. Revenue, C. Interest, D. Profits. Our answer would be A. Dividends. 37. In business, logistics is defined as A. Managing data from conception, production, and storage to retrieval. B. Using all systems to move an idea from conception to production and then sales. C. Managing resources from the point of acquisition, storage, and transportation to their final destination. Or D. Formulating a business idea systematically, gathering data, and following through to it. So, what would be your answer? Our answer would be C. Managing resources from the point of acquisition, storage, and transportation to their final destination. 38 says, which of the following documents shows ownership of imported goods? A. Bill of lading, B. Import license, C. Letter of credit, D. Bill of exchange. Our answer would be A. Bill of lading. So that's the document that shows ownership of imported goods. 39 says, JB Auto Company decided to export car engines from Barbados to Trinidad. Which of the following methods is best used for transporting the engines? A. Air, B. Sea, C. Rail, D. Road. Our answer would be B. C. For car engines and transporting it. Let's move on to 40. A debenture holder is one who A. is paid a fixed rate of interest if the company makes entitled to a fixed rate of interest, whether or not the company makes profits. So we know that a debenture holder is one who is D, entitled to a fixed rate of interest, whether or not the company makes profits. Let's move on to 41. Government offers subsidies to businesses to A, force them to pay corporation tax, B, reduce costs and ultimately prices, C, increase costs and ultimate prices, D, increase the price of imported goods. So we know government offers subsidies to business to B, reduce costs and ultimate prices. But 2. Which of the following would be the final step in the supply chain operation? A. Transformation of natural resources into finished goods. B. Movement to and storage of raw materials in the warehouse. C. Processing of raw materials and components into finished goods. D. Delivering the finished product from point of origin to point of destination. So we know it would be supply chain final step. D. Delivering the finished product from point of origin to point of destination. 43 says, which of the following is a global logistics provider? A. GIS, B. GPS, C. DHL, or D. Coordinates. We know that it would be C. DHL. 44 now. The stock exchange provides a marketplace where A. Goods are stored, B. Securities are traded, C. Shareholders trade shares, D. Commodities are exchanged. Our answer would be B. Securities are traded. 45. Me, I would like to protect your passport, birth certificate, and jewelry. Which of the following commercial bank services should she? A. Online banking. B. Safety deposit box. C. Night safe facilities. Or D. Automatic teller machine. We know it is the safety deposit box. B. 46. Which of the following groups stands to benefit most from a stable level of prices? A. Consumers. B. Workers. C. Society. D. Firms. No, that would be C. Society. 47 says, which of the following forms of taxation is imposed on goods produced in a country? A. Excise duty. B. Preference duty. C. Excise drawback. Or D. Customs drawback. We know it would be excise duty. A. 48 says, which of the following measures are used by governments to redistribute income? A. Customs duties and levies. B. Consumption tax and tariffs. C. Payee and national insurance. D. Excise duties and value-added tax. So we know it would be customs duties and levies. A. Let's go on. For I made an error. I said it says which of the following measures are used by governments to redistribute income? The answer is C. C. Payee and national insurance. So the correct answer is C. Let's go on to 49 now. The central bank is owned and controlled by the A. Government, B. Shareholders, C. Public sector, or D. Country citizens. So we know that the central bank is owned by the government and controlled by the government. So A would be our answer for this one. 50 now. Education contributes to economic growth by ensuring that the workforce is highly A. Mobile, B. Efficient, 52 says, which of the following measures could be used to protect the environment? 1. Recycling. 2. Deforestation. 3. Water conservation. Is it A, 1 and 2 only? B, 1 and 3 only? C, 2 and 3 only? Or D, 1, 2 and 3? We know it would be recycling and water conservation. So 1 and 3 only. So that would be your answer would be B. Let's move on to 53. Price control may be defined as A. Tax on goods and services. B. Government ban on imports. C. Grant given to producers to reduce their prices. D. Government limit on the price of goods and services. So we know a price control is where a government limit on the price of goods and services. D. Your answer. 54 says, which of the following taxes could be classified as indirect? A. Income tax. B. Value-added tax. C. Corporation tax. Or D. Capital gains tax. So we know it would be value-added tax. B. Let's move on to 55. One economic solution to unemployment in the Caribbean is to A. Export more goods. B. Reduce the birth rate. C. Nationalize industries. D. Encourage industrialization. So that would be D. Encourage industrialization. Let's move on to 56. Mrs. Jones has several bills of fixed amounts to pay each month. Mrs. Jones made an arrangement with her bank to make these monthly payments from her account. This service provided by the bank is referred to as A. An overdraft. B. A fixed deposit. C. A standing order. D. A letter of credit. So we know it would be a standing order. C. 57 says, computer-aided design CAD can be advantageous to A. Distribution, B. Production, C. Market research, or D. Scientific calculations. So we know that would be computer-aided design. It would be advantageous to production. B. 58. The best indicator of a country's standard of living is the A. Level of employment. B. Size of its national income. C. Size of its balance of payments. Or D. Average income of the population. We know it would be the average income of the population. D. Your answer. 59. In periods of inflation, the ability to raise additional capital for expansion is most likely to be a problem for A. Sole traders. B. Partnerships. C. Public companies. D. Multinational corporations. We know it would be sole traders. They would be the one that would be mostly affected by inflation. Last question. 60 says, the buying and selling of goods and services among countries is called A. Balance of trade. B. International trade. C. Balance of payments. Or D. International marketing. Though it is referred to international trade. B. So this is it. We have come to the CSEC Principles of Business, May, June 2020. Past paper 1, questions and answers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And there are some links in the description to other videos that I've already posted, or a card on the video at some